Yeah, buenos dias, camaradas, and to the people representing that Zod channel. But anyways, I just wanted to get into a few things. Somebody has said something about that I was lying when it came to real estate and the fact that we couldn't sit on the board. But look, I'm going to be just as straight out as I can. If you do your research, you're going to find out that if you're a felon, you cannot sit on the board of a real estate company. You can't even really do too much. I mean, now, you said that you know people that own real estate. Yeah, they own property. Any homie that got money, any race, don't matter who you are, is able to, you know, buy property. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to sit on the board of your company, which it won't be your company, that just won't happen. Now, if you go to the governor and get a governor's pardon, but I think you got to be out like 7 years off. You got to be out a certain amount of time and be off parole for a certain amount of time. Then that might be possible because they do give you a lot of your rights back. But I'm not too up on that, so I'm not going to speak on that. But as far as real estate, I told you I passed the real estate exam, you know, and of course not to become, you know, a real estate agent, because like I said, you can only do so much when you're dealing with feds. Yeah. You just gotta do your, do your research, Now, my homeboy came up with something. He was like, the homie from Santa Monica, he came up with something with like research market analysis. So basically, you can't be an appraiser, but you can pretty much figure out how to appraise the houses and things of that nature. And like, you can be part of something and sit off the board, but that's too obscure and you're never going to really do nothing with that. You know what I mean? But yeah, you can buy property all day if you got the money to do it. But as far as like sitting on the board, like I said, that is not possible being a felon. If you don't believe it, go do your research and then come back and then drop that comment. You know what I mean? If I can be schooled on that. But that's besides the point. Something else, my homeboy, I had talked to him and shit, he busted. But he told me basically, that to just put it out there to the youngsters and shit, as far as like what this life is about. And it's true, some people say that I shouldn't be telling people not to go to prison, which that sounds stupid as shit, but I'm telling homies to be careful, because like I said, prison is a whole different beast. And if your mindset ain't set on a certain point, you will either go out backwards or you will turn into something that you didn't intend to be when you first went in. I know homies that went in there with a regular mind state, thought they just gonna do their time and get out. And some of them are no longer good, and some of them just turned into monsters, And they don't really want to get out, because the way their mentality thinks is like everything is war, everything. They just want to do crazy shit, and they lost it a little bit, So that's mostly for them, you know what I mean? I'm always going to stick with the positivity. I will turn up when I need to, you know what I mean? Because that's anybody that feels threatened is going to turn up. But with that being said, I'm just saying, like, if you're a youngster and you're out there doing your thing, you know what I mean? And you got possibility to get that money, whether it's, school, rapping, music, anything that you're good at. If you feel like you can get that money, then just understand that this life ain't really for you, if you got those capabilities. Now, if you out there thugging and you just want to be turned up, then you're just going to be turned up. And I'm cool with that too. At the end of the day, when people say, and they say shit like, oh, yeah, affecting people's monies and, by me trying to deter some of the youth from, going to prison, that I'm fucking with certain people. But I kind of find that shit ludicrous, because at the end of the day, dude, there's a lot of homies that I've been incarcerated with that have been around for years, in and out. And the first thing they tell me is, Blackie, don't fucking come back. And it's not like the lifestyle wasn't for me. It's just I could do better things, and I'm trying to do better things. So with that being said, when people say shit like that, it's like I always keep saying, just do your research, dog. Most homies don't want to see you in prison. As far as numbers, we ain't going to never run out of numbers, because there's always going to be 20 to 1 that are willing to, put in that work and to be incarcerated. Me telling a gangbanger not to gangbang is like me telling people to vote for certain people. It's just... You control nothing. You can try to influence, but you'll never be able to control nothing. Now, I'm just going to push that to the side, because most homies have been really supportive. The thing with Big Herc, I already got the email, and I emailed him back. Basically, I think he's looking for something in November or December. My schedule's open. So I'm willing to do it whenever, you know. And good thing he be down here in the valley. So, you know, it's going to make it a lot easier to collab on that. And hopefully, you know, there's a few other people that really push for this shit that hopefully I'll be able to collab with, you know what I mean? There's a couple of homies that wanted to send me beats. Hey, send me your email, you know what I'm saying? So I can check you out and, you know, and try to plug you with the right people, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, all positivity, motherfuckers are ready to come up. Use my platform for whatever you need to do, you know what I mean? That's positive. You trying to really get out there, let's do it, you know what I mean? Like, hopefully, you know, I make some money, we get better equipment, we be able, but there's people on here that right now that got that type of equipment, so who knows, maybe we'll be able to do some type of three-way plug where they actually, you know, interview you and, you know, get your music out there and talk about your shit and where you're trying to go and where you came from. And, you know, just like that, you know what I mean? The same way they plug me with Big Herc, you know, hopefully I can plug homies and, you know, anybody with who they need to, you know, have at least a chance of coming up. Now, something else I want to talk about as far as shit like they're like conspiracies. Just think about it, dog. Look at Detroit right now. They could fix the water, but they choose not to. Why? Because it's all a process. If we don't fix your water, eventually you're going to move out. And the ones that are stubborn, they're going to find a way to try to get them out. You know what I mean? If you don't own the property, they're going to come up with something in order to keep you out. Because with all those factories that, you know, produce these cars and, you know, they need that spot, you know. And with motherfuckers that are what they consider less than human, you know, clogging up the place. Flint, Michigan, like, was the highest place for, like, arson. You got Detroit. They were murders left and right. They're trying to clear you out. And by making the water shit, and you got to drink it, you're coming out with deformities, babies coming out with, you know, different diseases and shit like that. Like, you're more susceptible to a lot of different shit because the water is toxic. And motherfuckers are continue to drink it because they have no choice. They could easily fix that. They could remedy that easy. But how else are they able to clean that area? The reason they're doing that is because once they get you to the point you no longer want to be in Detroit. I know people right now that live out here from Detroit. They left because, you know, there was no future in nothing. They ain't giving no jobs. They ain't doing shit. With all them factories, they're laying people off. They're not doing shit. Why? Because it's all part of the plan. If we take this from them, if we do this, you know what I'm saying? These people are going to move out and we're going to come and buy up this fucking property and they're going to change the geography of it. It's just the demographic, you know what I'm saying, of Detroit right now. Demographically, it's a lot different. You know, you got predominantly one race, you know, and you still got other races there, but predominantly one race. And that's for, and that doesn't fit well with a lot of people. Now, if it was more prosperous as far as like they didn't have to worry about killings and still finding people in Lake Michigan and all this shit, they wouldn't trip as much. But the simple fact that it's starting, you know, they got these shoddy townhouses and shit all broke down. Nobody's really doing nothing. Motherfuckers hanging on the corner. Gotta sell dope. You know what I mean? Just to survive in that fucking city. So that's why they're doing it. It's all the plan. They don't give a fuck if white people are there and any race is there. It's when it comes down to politics, and if you ain't a certain part of a circle, you don't fucking matter. They don't give a fuck what race you are. They don't give a fuck what race you are. So with that being said, the reason I said about Detroit is because a lot of people are talking about, you know, they want that money. They got the money to get money. Do shit like that. I mean, you still got to be careful when you buy up these properties in Detroit because people right there, you know, they've been there for years. They don't, you know, with outsiders, they're a little bit different. And, you know, they might see it as an incursion into, you know, basically their territory. So you got to be careful, you know what I mean? But if the smart thing to do is people are going to wait until they clean the water up, I wouldn't. If you got any type of money and you're looking to invest, I would buy property in Detroit right now. There, Jersey, there's a few other places. Just look at the places that are suffering the most. You buy property there and you hold it. Hold it. Make sure you do like your little, you know, upgrades here and there. But for the most part, just leave it. I can guarantee you Detroit is going to turn around. And demographically, it might change. But the simple fact that it's going to be a boom town. And them houses that might be down to a certain price. I heard like Jersey is somewhere around $15,000 for some houses. You can get them. See, that's what you want to buy. That's when you get into the market. Right now, like I said, I wouldn't really fuck with real estate. But if you're like trying to like, you're not worried about properties out of state, That's what I would get into. I would go to Detroit and I would put my money towards these houses and every other area that's like really suffering from poverty and shit like that. These houses can be turned around, and you just gotta wait on them. You may not make money right away, but you can pretty much sit back, and I can guarantee you, once they start clearing shit out and the water start clearing up, it's gonna be a lot of different people that you ain't used to seeing right there. But they're smart, they're buying up property, and I would too. If I had that type of money, I'd be in Detroit buying up houses. I'd try to buy fucking blocks. Because once they get rid of the problems that they consider a problem, people are starting to roll in. I can guarantee you, white dudes, Asians, whatever, they're being smart. They're buying the property and they're sitting back and they're waiting because they know basically it's like starving somebody out. It's like war. You know what I mean? What's the easiest thing in war? To win the war is to starve out, to cut off all supplies, to cut off everything. So you no longer have no ammunition, you no longer have no food to eat, you no longer have nothing. So either you retreat or you starve and you die. And that's what they're doing. That's why they ain't fixing that water. They want you to fucking die out so they can move in and take everything. And right now, I'm telling you, Detroit's property is there. It's there for the picking. You want a house out of state and you might not want to live there, but you want to be able to rent it out? Detroit is that spot. A lot of this shit, look at, dude, they doing a full court press just to get back a lot of places that they lost. That's it. That's how you do it, dog. It's like conquer and divide. It's fucking, starve out the enemy, you know what I mean? And say no longer want to fight for it and they give up. And a lot of people in masses are leaving Detroit. Mark my words. Demographically, a lot of shit gonna change. So if you're trying to get that money and you want to be part of it, that's what I would do, dude. I would definitely buy property in Detroit because, like I said, shit will turn around. And I'm not gonna stay that long, basically, I'm just gonna say like this to the youth. Like I said, if you ain't part of that shit and you really feel within your heart you ain't part of this life, do get out. Because if not, that shit is gonna fucking eat you up. It don't matter. You're one person. They got 20, 40, 20, 30 motherfuckers that will replace you. It ain't never gonna end. There's always gonna be people willing to do what they gotta do. Some people take this shit like, so much pride in their gangbanging that they don't give a fuck where they end up. You got homies that said it and did it and are on death row. You got fools that got major life and still don't give a fuck. And you got some that are more reflective and like, I should have just made better decisions. That's why I say, I've had homies like from everywhere tell me if I came back that they would probably fucking put a couple of holes in me. I don't know if they're lying or if they're telling the truth, but these were good homies. So it wasn't like no personal threat, but shit, some of these motherfuckers, you got to believe them because they were just that much with the fucking business. So yeah, of course I'm not trying to let the homies down. So, I got out and I tried to do straight. I had a few bumps, almost, absconded pretty much the first time. But luckily, my parole officer wasn't really tripping like that, And I didn't get locked back up. But, since then, dude, it's been a struggle. But, daily I'm still trying to get my hustle on. And with this channel, who knows, maybe be able to present a platform for everybody, Especially my homies. I'm gonna look out for my homies first and foremost, but I don't have no problem looking out for anybody, you know what I'm saying? But with that being said, yeah, I'm pretty much gonna end it there. But to the vatos that be banging on me and shit, you know what I mean? And I'm not talking about the homies that send their saludos from here and say their vato, not that. But I've had a couple of enemies on here that you wolfing on me, but we both know any of you that I've ran into, you haven't did nothing. And if you try, you know where it's went to. So, this not wolf. Like I said, I just turned 40. You know what I'm saying? So let's just keep that shit positive. And if you about that money and you trying to get that, let's get it. But if you're not trying to be about the money, that's cool, Saludos, straight out. Like, hey, what's up, But yeah, all positivity. Let's get this money. And on that note, your boy Zod. And you about to have a nice day. And I'm out.